Surprise, wrestling fans, we're back. It's a
Mhm.
weird day. I understand.
Mhm.
Plans, things get just kind of change things up every once in a while, and that's why we have. I don't know if we've ever done a Tuesday version of the show before. I think maybe once or
Yeah.
twice. We've done SmackDown shows
We've done post SmackDown wrestling shows rather than Monday because of stuff that might pertain to covering SmackDown and Raw at the same time.
It's true.
Which, as a go-home show before the pay-per-view, it sort of does make sense, especially with what we just saw in the past 60-plus minutes in the actual main event, even though, yes, it's only about, 3 matches on the show, if that. But
So there's a lot to talk about tonight, and that's the reason why I wanted to give this show a proper time frame.
mm-hmm.
And I have to work again at 7 a.m., but still, it is time to talk a little bit of something for everybody. We're going to discuss everything and anything and all points in between in the professional wrestling world. This is a Tuesday Wrestling Podcast. I'm your moderator. My name is Owen. I will be chiming in every once in a while. And joining me, as always, would be the host of wrestling content on this network, and that is Ashley.
It's no longer fuck the revival, it's fuck the academy.
Yeah. Editing and cinematography are worth a lot more than some of those Born Awards, that's for sure.
In a year when you've got no hosts or you've got no segments for that sort of shit, surely you'd have enough time to put it in.
You'd think so.
And if the Grammys can go 4.5 hours, why can't the Oscars go 3.5?
I guess not enough.
Why do they have to be 3?
So yeah, that's coming up soon in the next several days. Are we doing our final Oscar predictions in a podcast format, as always? And then we got one more show, which we're going to be live throughout the entire Oscar telecast from 1 hour before, live on the red carpet, until the final award is given out. But that's another time. This is the Tuesday Wrestling Podcast. A lot has happened in the time we've been gone. Lots of going down in New Japan. We saw Tanahashi become a transitional champion, like I predicted here on the last time we did Wrestle Kingdom.
Holy shit.
We see the fact that I still don't buy Jay White. Ring of Honor has done television tapings. Rob Van Dam and Sabu are going back to Impact.
Holy shit. Just a whole load of holy shit at this rate, isn't it? Really?
And Double or Nothing is a thing. And Alpha Omega 2 is happening once more. Plus, there's also WWE stuff to talk about. But we've got a little bit of something for everyone. We even got mixed martial arts news and everything. All this and more tonight on the Tuesday Wrestling Podcast. But first, as we seem to have to do a lot nowadays, we have to mention the passing of Pedro Morales.
Yeah. Coming through this afternoon. What, the second ever World Heavyweight Champ?
Yep.
We don't even know whether there was a tournament in Rio de Janeiro. But we do. Actually, no, I take it back. Because Buddy dropped the belt to Bruno in 63. And then you had Koloff beat him in that big old match at the Garden in January of 71. And then Pedro got it and held the belt for nearly 3 years. I think just shy of 3 years because he dropped the belt to the transitional Stan Stasiak.
Yep. And the first ever Triple Crown champion in the WWF.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When it wasn't fashionable.
Pretty much. I mean, he's got all the accolades. Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, Cauliflower Alley, and even the Observer, all Hall of Fame that he belongs to.
Mm-hmm. Is he in like the? I'm guessing if he isn't. Oh no, yeah, he was put in the Hall of Fame. He was in the first wave of
I
the Hall
care
of
so
Fame.
little about the WWE, I completely forgot about the fact he's in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Because it was sort of in the 90s era.
Yeah.
Those ones really do sort of like get forgotten about.
Right.
It's only when they sort of resurrected it from back in 04, with Pete Rose and Jesse the Body and Bobby Heenan and all that, are the ones that are sort of more memorable compared to where we are now. Also, I'm looking at it, we're like 7 weeks away from WrestleMania and we haven't announced any names for the Hall of Fame yet.
Lots of rumors going around right now.
Well, there's rumors, obviously, yeah. The only rumor that I'm hearing is Hart Foundation, the original formation of Neidhart, Brett, and Jimmy.
We're hearing Bam Bam Bigelow too. Finally.
Well, that's one that's been around for a year. I haven't heard it said sort of since last year, but it sort of makes sense. Plus, RVD's in the area in some match.
The big Undertaker thing that's always hanging around potentially.
Yeah, but if he's charging $25,000 an hour just for American stuff, I dread to think how much Inside the Ropes are paying for his UK tour at the end of April, early May.
I'm not going to lie to you right now. I'm almost thinking at this point, if it's feasible, you see him added to StarCast. The money would be there.
Sting versus Undertaker, but only in interview form.
I would not have an issue with this. So real quick, Bleacher Report, obviously, are like to throw in their 2 cents about the Hall of Fame. They're talking about inducting Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Jon Stewart as the celebrity member of the group.
I guess. And that'll be an excuse for Seth to be on stage.
Miss Elizabeth.
Wow. And would that be awkward if Lex did anything with that?
Oh, I'm not sure who would do that one.
Yeah.
Rob Van Dam and Demolition. That's the rumors right now.
Multiple tag teams then.
Not a bad idea. Smurfy Boy says Charlotte being added to the match at Mania makes no sense because now Asuka has no Mania opponent. They don't care.
Not just that. We're bringing it up. We might as well bring it up in any order, but with what was revealed on SmackDown tonight, Asuka's doing fuck all on Sunday. Probably because all the other women, apart from Zelina Vega, but apparently her and and Andrade and Rey Mysterio have gone into some fucking black hole or something and haven't been seen since. I have no clue. I'm just confused. Despite the fact that SmackDown was a good show, Raw I felt was about average. But the fact that it was a go-home show, it was actually better than usual go-home shows. But some of the booking decisions on both brands has me, like, What the shit happens with R-Truth and Rusev and Nakamura? If anything. Oh, wait. Nothing. So that's making me think a SmackDown team might be winning the women's tag belts. Because otherwise, if you look at that show as it stands, there is only one SmackDown title on the line. No SmackDown Women's, no SmackDown US.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the IC title is, the Raw Women's title is. Oh no, I guess the SmackDown tag titles as well. That's how memorable that is. You know, when you've got best in the world, apparently, allegedly. I mean, Raw, the main angle with the whole Becky Lynch and the authority and the apology thing, I was like, are we literally trying to do this like Stone Cold? And then by the end, when she apologized and they let her in, I was like, oh, I guess we are doing it differently. We're not doing it like Stone Cold. Cue Vince, who said, we're doing this like Stone Cold. Becky, you're suspended for 60 days, which means you won't be back until after WrestleMania. So it's now going to be Ronda versus Charlotte at the pay-per-view.
Cue the backlash.
I don't want this to happen.
No one does.
No. I'm not saying the match. I'm saying I don't want what I'm now to say next to happen. What if Ronda and or Charlotte somehow gets injured in the next 7 weeks? What the hell do you do then? Because no doubt they're going to have to be wrestling matches somewhere on house shows.
Right.
I'd have thought. But, you know. So then they had the Raw Triple Threat Women's match to decide who starts outside of the pods. And Nia Jackson Tamina, despite the fact Tamina came in not as the legal person, beating up both of them. So you'd have thought, wait, that's a DQ. Beat Bayley because Sasha barely did anything, because I don't think she's still properly cleared. So the Riot Squad are in a pod as well. If Sasha doesn't get cleared, what the fuck do they do? Mickey? Bliss?
I mean, Alexa would be interesting.
Nikki?
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. Take a look at the help section in your Alexa app.
God dang it.
Thanks, Bliss.
Well, it just depends on what direction you want to go. If you want Bliss to end up being a baby face, which, I mean, I'm not opposed to it at this point.
After her promo last night, the tweener status that we thought she had clearly went. She's heel still.
Great.
And also, remember, well, we didn't do a show last week, but last week they said, oh, we're going to have Dana Brooke versus Natalya.
Why?
I think you'll find that is the correct letter of the alphabet, because the match didn't happen last night.
Well, that's good.
They didn't have it at all. What they did have instead was Ruby Riott, to show that she's a possible contender for Ronda, beating Nikki Cross.
So much for all these superstars getting brought up for NXT.
All these new talents that are the ones to watch, and keep an eye on them. They're going to be hot property.
Nope.
Are jobbing.
Yep.
Already.
They don't know what they're doing. Everybody's better off staying at NXT right now.
So then, and also, what the fuck has happened to JoJo? Is she dead? Is she actually dead? Because Mike Rome keeps doing Raw every week.
I don't have a problem with that.
Well, no. You have connections.
Yes.
And I, therefore, also partly have connections. But she just disappeared off the face of the fucking earth. No reason has been given.
I mean,
is she fucking Bray Wyatt? That's the only reason I can think, because that's why he isn't on telly.
He's supposed to come back to TV soon, because I know he's been doing house shows occasionally.
So, yeah, Mike's there going, ladies and gentlemen, Elias. He strums his guitar, and we cut to Becky Lynch on the Titantron backstage getting some advice from Finn Balor. Falla Bar. And she had a nice, after he went, she went, you still got great abs, by the way. Just a nice ad-lib line. So now we're back in the ring. Elias strums. And then they do a video package on Seth Rollins. So at first I'm thinking, did Kevin Dunn botch? And then I'm going, oh my God, they're making this into a plot point. Is this a thing? Because I don't know whether we covered this 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah, it was after the Rumble, right?
Yeah.
Weird stuff after the Rumble. The match that happened last week with Jeff and Elias.
Mm-hmm.
Reports are saying that if Elias didn't get suitably over with the crowd in that match, he's going to be buried and sort of getting fast-tracked out the company. So what do? You have him be heel and have him face Jeff Jarrett in a fucking nothing match that the crowd aren't invested in, because where it was placed in the show meant it had to be sort of the piss break, because Ronda opened the show with 2 matches last week. And it's a guy that's a Hall of Famer, so it's not like he's an actual active fucking wrestler. Rumor is this is pointing to a WrestleMania match. Dear God, if this is going to be Elias's first WrestleMania match properly, being on the roster, I feel sorry for him. Dean Ambrose is in a better position because he's fucking leaving the company. And then he was interrupted by the Lucha House Party, who got involved, and of course he smashed them over the back with a guitar when he offered to duet with them. Then we had Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre, which had Lashley run in pretty soon after to cause a DQ. Here comes Kurt. Oh, here comes Baron. Here comes Braun. Hold on, player. 6-man tag, motherfuckers. Which the faces managed to win. Well, the heels managed to win with Lashley getting the 3 count. But Balor's foot was on the rope. And all of a sudden, here comes a second referee and goes, you made the wrong decision. As Ross pointed out from Cultaholic, that's the first time in about 13 months that this has happened. So why is it allowed in this match and not in others? Because we'll get to it. So then eventually the faces won. And Balor won with a coup de grace and all that. So then there was a video update from Kevin Owens and his son and a certain 3.0 playing bowling with them. I don't think anybody realized it was 3.0, but I did because I saw the news from yesterday. So I guess all the NXT worked out for them.
Yeah.
And he spent a lot of time with his wife and kids. They've been watching Raw, but it's hard to watch people do what he wants to. But he's around a month away from returning. He doesn't know if it's Raw. He doesn't know if it's SmackDown. And it doesn't matter. And then it's like he's going to do a Mr. Perfect. He's going to get a strike. And then he throws a gutter ball. So I'm just like, I love it. I actually love it. Oh, and this is the new thing we need to get to, Owen. Charlie Caruso is now a heel interviewer.
What?
Yes. She basically sort of went to Bailey and Sasha. Well, more often Bailey, because Sasha was sort of nowhere. Like, how does it feel that you gotta be disappointed with the fact that you're in there and whatever? Yeah, you don't stand a chance. And then when she interviewed Becky later on about what she's going to do in terms of her decision, she's going, wouldn't it be stupid for you to throw it all away just because you didn't say sorry? And then when later on Swerve Revival win the tag titles fucking clean over Rude and Gable, Revival being the heels, she's basically saying, congratulations, you deserve it, guys. Can we stop doing this? Honestly, it's getting fucking annoying. Reporters are supposed to be impartial. Or is this the Fox News side of things that WWE is trying to bring in? People that are loyal to the side that you don't talk about normally. You know, the heels, the baddies. Seth did a pretty good promo with Heyman. Heyman interrupting, saying basically, if you try and beat Brock, Seth, you're just going to be the architect of your own demise. Which admittedly was a line from Stephanie last year and whatever. And Rollins basically said, you know, Brock's held the WWE Universal title hostage for 2 years, and I'll burn in hell before I let Brock leave with the title at Mania. So then Dean Ambrose comes out. Word is there was supposed to be this long-ass speech that he was giving regarding him, Seth, Shield, Roman, everything. Ambrose said, I've only got one thing to say to you, Seth. Slay the beast. He dropped the ring and went into the corner in Mike Rowe's leather chair, waiting for his opponent for the next match. Apparently, it was supposed to be this long actual segment and wasn't. Is this more of a sign that Dean Ambrose does not give a fuck anymore?
To be fair, he hasn't for quite a while.
Yeah. So, then from out of nowhere, Dean Ambrose beats EC3. So I'm guessing they might be having the rubber match either on the pre-show at the pay-per-view, which is unlikely because it's with a 1 hour show. They're probably going to have the Cruiserweight title match probably in the pre-show. So more than likely, it's going to be next week in Lafayette. Probably. And yes, the Revival, it was interesting. Revival versus Rude and Gable, the crowd did not give a shit about. And then by the end of it, they cared more about this than I think any other match on Raw tonight. Or Raw that night, I should say.
Makes sense.
Because they had a very, very good match. And as I say, yeah, Revival win clean. Just like from nowhere. And then we had the whole Becky, Vince, Charlotte stuff, which ironically is a good jumping off point because when Vince introduced Charlotte Flair in the video that was shown on Matron, here comes Charlotte's graphics and Charlotte comes out booed like crazy in Toledo, Ohio. You know, main eventing WrestleMania is her destiny. You know, my heart breaks for Becky, but it doesn't. I thought I taught her better than to get suspended. She's the backbone and franchise of the women's division. More heat. You know, Vince didn't choose her because she was his favorite, because she's the best in the world, a future Hall of Famer. Becky's just a flash in the pan, couple of month entertainer. WrestleMania is going to be like every other pay-per-view, with the fans cheering her on and chanting, "This is awesome." She then dedicated the win over Ronda to Becky. And she's going to be front row Elimination Chamber, where she might get involved. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Charlotte wants to face Ruby Riott, doesn't she, at WrestleMania? What an undervalued main event that is, because the casual just go, well, you're related to Ric Flair, and I don't know who the fuck you are, Ruby Riott, so I'm turning it off. So I don't know why Charlotte would want that. And then the crowd are chanting for Becky, and Charlotte starts doing what chants back at the crowd, which I don't get. But Charlotte was just... It proves why Charlotte should be a heel, but at the same time, she's been a heel far too fucking long for me to give a shit. That's the problem. The only reason she's heel is because they're scared if Ronda is treated too much like the heel, she won't come back because of her previous in terms of, oh, I'm sulking, I'm not happy. There were some reports that apparently she's not happy with the fact that WWE was in talks with Cyborg about bringing her in, either for this angle or for some part of an angle. The added twist to that, apparently all Elite want Cyborg as well. So I don't have a fucking clue. Carmella and Naomi beating Mandy and Sonya in the Iconics to make sure that Mandy and Sonya start in the chamber and not in a pod. And then we have fucking graphics. Because they have, like, you know, dioramas, Owen?
Hmm.
You know, like model villages and stuff like that. We had that with every single woman that's in the chamber match. In weird ass fucking graphics. And not in a good way. Just weird as all hell. Mustafa Ali cut a promo saying that he wasn't medically cleared to compete at Elimination Chamber, but, you know, just because he's injured now, you know, you don't want me, you clearly don't want me to figure out, but I'll prove you wrong, sort of thing. So then we had Muck Miz TV. Miz apparently has been filming more episodes of Miz and Mrs. And Miz then suddenly announced that Shane's going to be a guest star on NCIS. Apparently. with LL Cool J and all that. Is that the original NC? Yeah, that's the original NCIS, isn't it? Or is it the LA one? Why am I asking you, Owen? You won't know TV. They bring the Usos out, and they're saying, "Oh, you're trying to be like us, are you?" And Shane goes, "No, we're the best in the world." And Jimmy and Jay are like, "We know each other better. You know, we know what our favorite color is. We know what our favorite food is, and occasionally they bathe together because they're twins." And I'm going, "Oh, Naomi must really love that then. Fucking hell." And then it was like, Miz was like, "Oh, well, we can do that. Shane, what's my favorite color? Blue." "Oh, blue. Exactly. What's my favorite minor league baseball team?" And of course he goes, "The Toledo Mud Hens." And I'm like, when has Toledo's sports teams been brought up as an angle on any wrestling ever? And then it was like, what's my favorite food? Quiche. Wait, quiche? You like quiche? And like, yeah, Maurice makes a great quiche for me every week. And clearly this was a planned line because the Uso goes, "Hey, you leave our pops out of this." It's just like, okay, that's actually witty. And then of course Mandy Rose was brought up, and then they did sort of a pose with the belts, and then they got super kicked by the Usos. I don't know who's heel, I don't know who's face, but there you go. So now out comes Daniel Bryan saying a lot of people wanted him to lose the championship. And people were not happy with this. And then some idiot fans started doing the yes chant. So, of course, they all did it. So, they were fickle. And then literally Bryan said, you're lying to me. You are fickle. And it's like, well, yeah, because they just proved that. He doesn't want to be in the chamber because it's painful, horrible, and career shortening, but he's doing it so he can sacrifice himself to lead the people. And then it was interrupted by New Day, who came out teasing who was going to be coming in. Worth noting, Big E came out with a giant fucking salami sausage. I swear, just to piss off Bryan, and at the same time to make him laugh his ass off inside. So there was a smorgasbord in this first little bit of the match, which went about like 20-something minutes. And New Day got through out for attacking Rowan, even though he attacked them back. Then Rowan eventually got thrown out as well. And Bryan went for the running knee. Kingston countered it. Trouble in Paradise. Kofi Kingston pins the WWE champion. So then he's got Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy, after a few minutes, tries to roll through and get a pin from a crossbody. Kofi kicks out, hits the SOS, gets the pin. Then Samoa Joe is beating the shit out of Kofi. And from out of nowhere, he escapes the rear naked choke with the whole the Bret Hart Roddy Piper finish from what was that? Was that SummerSlam 91? Owen?
Here.
SummerSlam 91. That was the Bret Hart Roddy Piper finish, wasn't it?
SummerSlam 91? No, sir. SummerSlam 91, ironically enough, was the first pay-per-view I ever watched legally.
What was I'm trying to think. Was Bret and Roddy WrestleMania 8?
Yes, it was.
Because it was that style of pinfall finish. Kofi ran up the ropes from the choke and pinned him.
Oh, the leverage pin off the buckles?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So then he beat the shit out of him more. AJ was concerned. And AJ was saying, like, Kofi, you don't have to do this. And he was getting up and refusing, slapping him around and basically saying, I've been waiting 11 years for this moment. Styles and Kofi have a pretty good match. It's worth noting, Tom goes, wow, Kofi's performance here might be the longest that somebody's ever competed in one match here on SmackDown. And I'm like, clearly he doesn't remember Brock versus Kurt in the 60-minute Iron Man match. And Kofi somehow is still managing on basically fumes to be able to do it. Goes for the SOS. Styles rolls through and counters it into the calf crusher. Kofi has to tap out. The other two of New Day come rushing out. There's practically a standing ovation for Kofi for the feat that he did. And at this minute, there is about 40 seconds to go until the show's over. AJ's looking at the ramp as Randy's music plays. He's looking at the ramp. He's looking at the ramp. RKO from out of nowhere because he came through Mike Grome's spot in the crowd / Greg Hamilton's. Pins him immediately. And even as the 2 count is on, the graphic at the bottom says SmackDown 2019. They WCW'd SmackDown. Who didn't time this fucking properly? Also, that really goes to show you everything, doesn't it? Orton is going to do the least work again. Because on SmackDown, he comes in, does one move, and that's it. And he's going to be the last in the chamber. So if you're paying him on a pay-per-appearance basis, it's fucking expensive at this minute, isn't it?
Looks like it.
Christ. It is worth noting, though, what was it? The STO backbreaker, was it?
Yep.
From AJ to Kofi, with like Kofi screaming and just like bending over. It's just like, Jesus. I'm wondering whether Kofi might get replaced by Xavier or Big E because he won't be able to compete kayfabe-wise because of the beating that he took. But to me, that's a worrying sign for New Day fans because Kofi fucking belongs in a singles division, not as a tag team player. Easily. So yeah, although... Oh, actually, come to think of it, there was actually only 2 matches. But yeah, nothing regarding the US title on this show. Nothing regarding Asuka. What the fuck? What we haven't talked about, because it was 2 weeks ago, is the NXT spoilers.
Yep.
I guess the big thing to come out of it is we really don't know what's happening at this point. We've had the Drew Gulak Eric Bugenhagen match already air. I don't know what the gimmick. I thought Mojo was annoying. Eric Bugenhagen seems even worse.
I haven't seen this guy yet, and I've heard nothing but bad things.
Bianca Belair teamed up with Io Shirai and Kairi Sane. I think that might be on this week's. They have beaten the 3 horsewomen. So Ronda's in trouble. Cassius Ohno interrupts a Humberto Carrillo and Stacey Irvin Jr. match. And then Keith Lee says Ohno should just leave. So I'm guessing that's going to build to probably a loser leaves NXT match. Maybe. I don't know. Then the Street Profits show up. They beat Humberto and Stacey. And then here comes Eichner and Barthel. Here comes Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan. Here come the War Raiders. And then here come Undisputed Era. So part of me is wondering, are we going to get a 5 tag team ladder match for the tag belts at WrestleMania?
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Ricochet beat Adam Cole. That should be a good match just on its own. Keith Lee did beat Ono, so we'll see what happens with that. Aleister Black beating Roderick Strong. Mia Yim being in a match, then getting attacked by the Horsewomen. So I guess they're happy enough with the feud with the Japanese women coming to an end, maybe. And then we have the confusing situation with the NXT title. So either Velveteen Dream won the title, but then Gargano came back and made Dream tap to the Gargano escape. So I guess they're leaving it up in the air as to what actually happens. I'm hoping that what it leads to is the Gargano thing happens, but Gargano basically gives up the title, very similar to sort of Progress style with Volta and Travis Banks' world title. He's going to give up the US title because he's proven to himself in his mind that he knows how to get gold, singles-wise. And I think Gargano might be beating Ciampa at WrestleMania. And the crowd that were against Gargano will cheer for him. Because that feud needs to end because somebody needs to leave and go to the main roster sooner rather than later. And I think you could probably do something with Ciampa in a heel role. Well, that being said, yeah, have Ciampa replace bloody Lars Sullivan.
That would work.
Considering Lars Sullivan doesn't want to show up to anything because he's got mental issues. Why didn't WWE realize this before they got him and wanted to push him? Should have looked ahead. And with the WWE UK stuff, they are doing tapings, I believe, next weekend in Coventry. And I think that's the last tapings before WrestleMania, where I'm guessing there will be NXT UK matches either at Access or as part of TakeOver or both. Because I would not object if TakeOver WrestleMania or TakeOver, WrestleMania was 3 hours. If you gave it like an extra match as an NXT match, let there be 6 matches. I think it's only fair. Have Volta beat Pete Dunne in the what's the fucking stadium again? What's the arena that they always go to in New Jersey?
Oh God, MetLife.
Yeah, no, that's the stadium, isn't it? I can't remember.
I'll tell you in a minute. No, it's MetLife.
It is.
Yeah.
I just got confused about the stadium. I know it's where TakeOver's going to be, but you know, I'm saying if there was something there and have it happen there, you know, it'd be pretty big because the world needs to know about Volta. I know he's going to be mainly based in the UK, but if you want, you know, the Americans have got used to Pete Dunne. They need to be aware about Volta because it might act as people to actually watch NXT UK. Because if NXT UK is going to be solely on the network and NXT is maybe transitioning to Fox, maybe. Oh, no, it's the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. That's where it's happening, Owen. MetLife Stadium is where
WrestleMania is.
Yeah. It's the Barclays Center. That's it. I remember now. It's... I don't know. I have my concerns. Probably. I'm just looking ahead because with the one bit of WWE news that I guess we could bring up, I think it's all but confirmed, but not officially because of political situations. But I believe May the 3rd is supposed to be the next Saudi show for WWE.
That's what I'm hearing.
My confusion with that is they're doing the UK tour immediately following that. As in, they're going to have to fly to Saudi to do whatever, then fly back to America to do Raw and SmackDown, and then immediately fly to start the UK tour, which begins, I guess, for the Raw talents, by the looks of it, in Belfast, Northern Ireland on the 8th of May. How fucking jet-lagged are their wrestlers going to be? That's fucking terrible organizing. You thought they could organize it better, but no. That's too much common sense. Way too much common sense. Brief things to bring up, I guess. Yeah, New Japan. I think we need to cover all three of New Japan, don't we?
Yeah.
So I guess the big thing, the most recent one, Kota Ibushi showed up and thanked the fans for the concern about his injuries. He's in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's not going anywhere. And is going to be in the New Japan Cup tournament, which is in a few weeks' time. And I love the fact afterwards they were saying, like, you know, what's the relationship with Kenny? And they're bringing up all the people that are going to saying that Kenny's going to be crying about this. Because Kota said basically something like he he's not a fixture anymore, sort of thing. As if it's like the Golden Lovers are dead. Taiji Ishimori beat Taguchi to retain the junior heavyweight title. Immediately challenged Liger afterwards, which Liger accepts, which has been added now for the anniversary show next month.
You know, Ashley, I'm honestly thinking they're going to give Liger one last run.
Before he retires?
Yep.
If he retires.
I think it makes too much sense for it not to happen.
Okada beating Fale. And then Jay White beating Tanahashi.
Clean,
but at the same time, they had a fucking great match. Despite all my concerns about, this not being good, they delivered. I am hoping this becomes a thing. You know, Jay White is the, fourth youngest heavyweight champion ever?
Yep.
The, fourth or fifth Gaijin?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, because did Vader have the title? So it might be sixth, maybe seventh.
Yeah, he did.
Because, Vader, Sap, Lesnar, AJ, Kenny. So I think that maybe is the sixth Gaijin. Or did Stan Hansen have the belt?
I'm looking at Scott Norton's on that list too.
Okay, 7. Either way, the big stat is fourth youngest.
I mean, Bob Sapp's on that list.
Yeah.
Lesnar.
I think they said he's the 27th man to hold it. Because obviously Tanner's had the belt, 8 times?
Mm.
Okada had it for a long while. There's been multiple other champions, but Nakamura obviously as well. Jay White is apparently defending that belt at the Ring of Honor Super Show. I don't know whether they did that because they're hoping that tickets are going to go well for it. Because I don't know what the secondary market is for that. I'm a little bit concerned. Also, for the anniversary show, they announced that Sho and Yo are going to be challenging Bushi and Shingo for the junior tag belts as well. And then I don't think anything else changed hands that I can think of off the top of my head. I don't think any of the titles changed hands on the previous shows. Naito retained against Taichi. And the tag belt stayed the same, so no news as to what's going on this week. I think is it this weekend? NJPW. I need your schedule, bitches. No, it's next week. Next week is the Ring of Honor New Japan shows at the Kurikan Hall.
Yep.
Friday and Saturday, 22nd and 23rd. Oh, do we actually have a match lineup? Holy shit. Be interesting to see who's going over. Marty Scurll's in the opening match. What? Zack Sabre Jr. Gresham and Liger versus Eagles and Ishimori. That's interesting. The Gorillas of Fuck are teaming up with the Briscoes to face Hanare, Honma, Finlay, and Juice. Oh, and Taguchi, Yano, and Makabe, who got the titles back. I think that was the only other title change that might have happened over the New Beginning shows in Hokkaido. They're challenging They're being challenged, by Colt Cabana, Delirious, and Cheeseburger. Part of me wonders whether they're going to have the titles change hands and then have the titles change back.
Wouldn't surprise me.
At the Super Show in America.
Got Ospreay and Goto for never open weight. Cobb defending the TV belt against Hiroki Goto.
Ospreay and Dalton for the never open weight.
That's what I thought I said.
Goto's challenging Cobb for the ROH TV title.
That's what I thought I said.
And then the main event is Lethal, Okada, and Tanahashi versus Silhouettes. Everybody else has a picture on the New Japan website, but Vinny Marsaglia, TK O'Ryan, and Matt Taven don't. Matt, I don't know whether we can get this message to Matt. Please make a whole bit of this in your promo, whether it be pre-match, after the match directly if you win, which is unlikely, or post-match backstage. Why are you a Silhouette? You were the face of this company. You got to build up some hype to your anniversary show match with Lethal. We'll get to that in a minute. Then the other one, Lethal's defending the Ring of Honor World title against TK O'Ryan. I think we know that Jay Lethal's winning that. We can call that now. Spoilers. And also, interestingly, on a Ring of Honor / New Japan show, they're having Sonata and Evil versus the Gorillas of Fuck for the tag belts. Are they going to have a title change?
I think it's possible. I think it's possible Finlay and Robinson win the tag belts too.
Also, I'm looking at this card. I've just noticed because the main event is Finlay and Robinson challenging the Briscoes for the Ring of Honor tag belts. Okada is not on this card. Okada's having a day off, Owen. And Tanner. Dear fuck. So it's worth reacting like that because they never normally fucking have matches until like 4 days beforehand. Because it's like a joke or something. I don't know. Yeah, and New Japan Cup starts March 8th and goes on through to March 24th. Which by the looks of it will be the last shows before the G1 Supercard at the Garden. And all that jazz. Impact Wrestling. The big stuff to come out of that. We have new tag champs. LAX losing to the Lucha Bros. To prove that they're the best tag team in the universe. Proven by the fact that on MLW this week, the Lucha Bros said that they're not going anywhere. They're going to be there at WrestleMania weekend. So I guess that's somewhat of a dig at Rouge, maybe. They're starting to sign with Ring of Honor. Perno. Also on MLW, we had Brian Pillman Jr. and Davey Boy Smith Jr. versus Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman. Don't ask me why. They did.
Sounds like an ECW arena match.
Speaking of ECW.
Yep.
The main event of the Thursday Impact show, which will probably be live on Twitch, which we'll get to in a minute. The Lucha Bros versus Sabu and RVD for the tag belts. I don't know what to say at all.
I'm honestly thinking there's a possibility we might actually get a title change in that match.
No. It wouldn't be that stupid, Impact.
It wouldn't be stupidity. It
Can't be popping a rating. We got rumored numbers from Dave because, of course, there's no official reporting. 12,500 people are watching the Pursuit channel. And on top of that, there's only about 10,000 people watching Twitch, which I can't even officially watch anyway because it's region blocked. They don't region block All In. They don't region block Hood Slam. They don't region block Shikara. Name any indie show. They don't region block it. Plus, it's only shown at sort of like stupid o'clock times over here in the UK anyway when it's on. So if they're going to be up anyway, you might as well put it on. So, Impact is... Impact, I think, is in trouble. Even more so than it was. I swear at this point, they're just waiting for the right offer from Vince for the tape library, and it's just going to get shut down. Because if anything, MLW looks more like TNA now than anything. Because it's even got the stupid angles. Like Conan getting shanked by bloody Loki. Speaking of, I guess we didn't bring that up as well, because that was Super Bowl weekend last week. Filthy Tom Lawlor beat Loki to become the world champion. You heard the shtick about what they've done with Loki, haven't you?
No.
So Loki was undefeated in the company.
Right.
Not just now, but when they first had their shows, what, like 12 years ago? Those first few shows that then they suddenly did stop doing.
Yeah.
So they've been basically saying, apparently, that Loki's been undefeated for 12 years. Despite the fact that MLW's barely gone for about 3 of those 12 years. I do like the spin that's been put on it, but at the same time, shit the fuck. So then, I guess the other thing we didn't bring up last week, which I think we were going to react to, Halftime Heat. Completely forgot about that because of the 2-week delay. Halftime Heat was an incredible, 16 minutes. It was spot heavy, but to be honest, you probably expect it to be spot heavy because of all that went down. So it was just brilliant. The faces, getting the win. I didn't watch the Maroon 5 thing because I was watching the wrestling instead. But I did like the fact that Triple H in the promo beforehand said that if you want to be all in, you've got to be NXT. And I'm like, I see what he did there. I see what he did there. The sneaky bastard. Yeah, so that was very good. I don't even know what just went down on 205 Live. Probably something, I can guess. Yeah, don't see anything yet. So AEW, they had the press conference. OWE is officially a part of the thing. There's going to be an OWE versus SCU 6-man at Double or Nothing. Pac versus Page is official now. We're also getting what was being teased, at least from the angle that happened at the show when they introduced the women. Kiley Ray versus Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose, if you don't know, is transgender. So AEW making sort of the major presses there as the first proper Do I say proper trans? Is that the right terminology, Owen? This is like a minefield.
I would stay away.
I'd say first transgender competitor, because I would say Nicole Bass wasn't really a competitor, was she?
Not really.
Also, Sonny Kiss was involved. So we're they're trying to say that they're as inclusive as possible. Because I'm pretty sure there's some people at WWE that would not like Nyla Rose or Sonny Kiss at one of their shows. Probably. But now that's now been changed into a triple threat because Dr. Britt Baker DDS is going to be part of that match as well. Should be an interesting one. And then, as you previously mentioned, Owen, Omega versus Y2J2 Electric Boogaloo is happening.
Yep.
Officially.
Well, I mean, you've got SoCal Uncensored against Shima and to be announced.
People. And the other one that I didn't mention, Young Bucks versus Penta and Phoenix.
Yep.
As well.
Which was set up during the on sale.
Yeah. Don't know what Cody's doing.
It's interesting that there is a picture that is on Twitter right now, and it's blurred out who his opponent is. And I'm very curious. Apparently, it's personal. That's the only hint that we have.
Is it Ted? Is he going to fuck on me?
A lot of people are saying Ted DiBiase Jr.
Is he going to fuck on me? Or is it Bob Holly?
That's another one, too.
Trying to think. Or is it somebody that got let go of the E that was a fan, that was sort of Dusty was a fan of?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the picture, it's kind of blurred out a bit, and I'm trying to tell what it is, but I can't really place it.
Goldust?
I mean, the picture doesn't look like him, though.
Yeah. Where's this picture? Is it on Twitter?
I saw it once, and I have no idea where it is.
There's nowhere.
Hold on. It's blurred out. I'm trying to tell, and I can't. A lot of people are thinking it could. I mean, there's people that are talking about other things. It could be Nick Aldis. That's a possibility too.
Mm-hmm.
Because Brandy has a picture of it, and it says Double or Nothing, Cody versus, and it's blurred out, and so is the face.
We'll see.
I think it might be Bob Holly, actually, because the way I'm looking at it. A lot of people are jumping on Punk, but that doesn't really make much sense.
It's not really personal.
No, it's not.
I'd have thought.
More signings.
The swerve is if it's Dean.
Yeah. Like Jimmy Havoc's officially in AEW now.
Yeah, despite his MLW stuff, I guess that's allowed. Maybe. However, we have rumor and innuendo regarding AEW. The only source that I've seen this from is Wrestle Talk. They have sources that are suggesting they ain't doing 2 shows this year.
Nope. Oh, you saw the list too.
They're doing the show already announced in July in
Yep.
Jacksonville, with the profits going to and the proceeds going to gun charities,
Which I'm going to do my damnedest to be at.
gun victim charities or whatever. But apparently they're going to be doing some show in June. Venue to be determined. Then the show in July, which you already knew about. And then August, the rumor is they're taking over the Royal Albert Hall in London, England.
Yep.
Which would be weird. The problem is, at that time, the proms are happening. And you do not fuck with the proms in terms of doing anything. So I'm sort of thinking it can't be there. So now I'm trying to work out what other venue they could go to. The only one I can think of could possibly be the Copper Box basketball arena. Because they won't be able to do Wembley Arena, probably because of WWE commitments and all that. I won't be able to do maybe Wembley Arena if they wanted to do London. Wembley Stadium would be crazy. That'd be way too big, I'd have thought. But and then September, maybe. What's the weekend then? Is it Labor Day?
First, I believe it's the opening weekend of Halloween Horror Nights.
The first week in September, like it was last year.
First weekend of Halloween Horror Nights, yes.
Will be All Out.
Yep.
That's supposedly the name of it. And from there, that'll be where they do the introduction to the television tape. Well, I shouldn't say television tapings. The word is it's going to be live television every Tuesday night.
In starting in October.
Starting in October, when WWE transitions to Fox and goes Friday nights. Although, that being said, Fox seems to be hinting that Friday nights is only a temporary move for now. Because apparently the Friday night comedy stuff that they've been putting on over the last couple of weeks has been doing crazy good in the ratings, and they're concerned over the ratings of WWE because they don't want it to be dragged down dramatically. So, I don't know. I think that's all the elite stuff, though, right?
Well, there's the big stuff that Jericho's been teasing all day about potentially hanging out with Dave Bautista and bringing Dave Bautista to AEW.
Oh, rumor is the talks have happened.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they have.
I guess because you mentioned Jericho, that's the other thing. All Elite is partnering up with Jericho to do Jericho Cruise 2 Electric Boogaloo.
I want to go so bad.
Well, it's January.
I know it works with my timing and everything. It's affording it's the problem.
The other interesting thing as well, Kenny apparently is in charge of the women's division.
Yep.
According to the rumors. Along with Brandy and Tony Khan. Which is interesting. Of course, some people are like, what experience does he have? This is the guy that wrestled an 8-year-old girl and made her look fucking incredible.
Yep.
I think he's actually wanting to put women's wrestling actually on the map. In all honesty. But, yeah, apparently Kenny's contract means he can still work New Japan.
Yep.
Which makes sense because Kenny's profile has not been removed from the New Japan Wrestling page. The Bucks have. Page has. I don't think SU were on there.
No.
Cody has as well. But yeah. Kenny remains. So I don't know whether Kenny might be doing the last hurrah at G1 Supercard.
The thing is, when All Elite succeeds, and we're hoping that it's a win at this point, not an if, I honestly think they're going to reevaluate, and New Japan will want to work with them. We talked about this at Wrestle Kingdom, Ashley. When it comes down to it, a superpower of Ring of Honor, New Japan, under the AEW banner to take WWE down a peg, especially in a time that they're very vulnerable.
And of course, you know what the irony of that is, Owen?
It's WCW, baby.
No. There are rumors of Wrestle One, All Japan, and Dragon Gate. Oh no, yeah, and Noah, not Dragon Gate. All three of them pairing up to try and take down New Japan. Dragon Gate apparently don't give a shit because they've got Pac.
I mean, I'll tell you right. I'll tell you right now. I mean, in the back of their mind, and especially with Cody, this could be the ultimate revenge for WCW. And I want that to be the case.
And of all ironies, who's doing the WCW programming right now?
Yeah.
Randy Orton just won. We're out of time. We'll see you at the pay-per-view. Also, they did the earnings call this past week. They made nearly $1 billion just in revenue. And the thing is, I think it's 100 million in net income. If you look at the spreadsheets that they did for that, you know what the next highest years were, Owen? What do you think?
I don't even know anymore.
98 and 99. No other years were above, because I think like 98 and 99 were in the region of like 80 and 90 million. 2018 was 100. The next was like 2004, which was at about 40 million. Admittedly, that 100 million has probably been helped by one, the Saudi deal, and two, the Fox deal, which probably contributed to it a lot in terms of the income. Right. But it is worth noting as well, 2016, they made a net income loss, which I didn't even realize because I guess I wasn't paying attention to it much 2 years ago. Because this shindig that we were doing together really only just started around then. I think maybe. I don't know. This has gone on forever. Not this show, just this series, this network. It feels like it's 10 years old when it's only 2.5 or 2 3/4.
Doing this show, I mean, it's been longer than that.
Is it? I can't even remember when the first wrestling-related podcast thing on here with us was.
Dang it, let's go look at it. I'll find it. I'll have it here.
Which Mania was it? Mania 32, I guess, maybe?
31.
Christ, it's nearly 4 years.
March 31st, 2015 was the first podcast we ever did.
Oh, it's nearly 4 years.
Yep.
Whoa. Nostalgia.
Indeed.
No, it's just with this AEW stuff, it's just interesting to see where it goes. I'm trying to cover up the fact that I lost my train of thought. Yeah, if the stuff does come through to fruition about doing more shows than they're saying, as I say, Royal Albert Hall I'd say is unlikely because of the problems, so they have to find some other venue. But yeah, everybody's trying to mobilize. They're realizing that this is a crux point. This is why maybe Vince needs to leave and just focus on the XFL. In some brief XFL news, there's some football coach that retired that they managed to get out of retirement to coach one of the XFL teams.
Some guy from Nebraska, I believe.
Yeah. That was like a legendary coach in the NFL and whatever.
Yeah.
So. But because me and Owen, well, Owen knows nothing about sports, I know somewhat less than I should do, maybe, about NFL. Yeah. Speaking of NFL, we do have 2 football players as part of the class of February 2019. Can't remember the names exact. I think it's Ricardo Miller and Omari Palmer, I believe.
Sure. I don't know these
I think
people.
that's the 2. Well, the big ones to me, Rachel Ellering is in.
Yep.
Trevor Lee's officially in.
Yep.
ACH is in. Jonah Rock and Elliot Sexton, Sex Rock, or whatever they're called, from Australia are in. Karen Q is in. Samuel Shaw, he's getting a reprieve. And as previously mentioned, 3.0 of Scott and Shane. Except he isn't actually Shane, but I'll still call him Shane forever. Although it is interesting as well, apparently Shane Strickland is supposed to be NXT bound as well, but because of the Lucha Underground situation, they can't do it. It's just a case of as soon as that gets resolved, it'll be done, which might be soon. Transition.
I want Lucha Underground gone because I want Joey Ryan in an AEW.
Well, keep in mind as well, El Hijo de Fantasma is suing the company.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because of this deal, he can't run many of the shows that he'd like to. He's restricted, and basically he's trying to say, look, they aren't confirming or giving us any news as to whether they're doing anything. They're holding us hostage to these 7-year contracts because it was supposed to be 7 seasons over 7 years.
Yep.
If there's no commitment and there's signs all but seem to point that nothing's happening, and if it gets cancelled after all those fucking roundabouts that I had to play for that finale, what a great fucking cliffhanger that's going to be. Literally, that's going to be a real life roundabout moment, isn't it? Christ. Well, I guess it wouldn't be, because it wouldn't be to be continued because it's fucking dead. So yeah, I guess depending on how that lawsuit may or may not go, whether it gets resolved sooner rather than later, I mean, that frees up a shit ton of people.
Yep.
It frees up officially Penta and Phoenix to be able to do whatever they want. Oh, that was the other thing as well with AEW. They released it early. They're partnering with AAA, and fucking dickhead Roldan, who most people believe is the problem with that company. He says at the end of this little video package, I'd like to give All Elite a hug. It's like, what are you smoking? They say in the Oscar stuff, I'm smoking crack or something?
Yes.
Dorian's smoking it for me, apparently.
I'd buy that.
Just fucking this. Oh. Jeez. There was some Lucha stuff as well that went down. There was a Dr. Wagner Blue Demon Junior street fight, which was pretty crazy, which seems to be angling towards Phantasma Demon and somebody versus Vampiro, LA Park and Wagner match somewhere down the line. I'm not sure which show, because I lose track about what major shows that AAA have got coming up at some point in time. I should probably, you know, follow that up more than it is. But then sometimes it's that farcical. Sometimes crazy. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else. There might be big shows coming up. I'll probably have to keep an eye on the Cubs fan page and all that as to more stuff. Well, CMLL streams anyway on its YouTube page. AAA seems to be streaming a lot of shows that they can on Twitch as well. So it's all going to sort of be there for anybody to watch, more than likely. I don't know if it's a weekly thing for AAA like it is with CMLL, but there you go. So quickly transition to the UFC stuff. So the fight night, Sunciao versus Moraes from Brazil. We had Moraes beat Sunciao with a first round submission in that one. Jose Aldo also got back to winning ways with a second round TKO and Renato Moicano. No fight of the night. Aldo and Morales got performances tonight, along with Charles Oliveira beating David Tamor with an Anaconda choke submission. And also Johnny Walker beating Wait, he's Brazilian, but his name's Johnny Walker. Okay. He beat Justin Leday in 15 seconds. That's a TKO if you saw one. Is worth noting as well, two of them failed to miss weight. One on the main card, one on the ESPN Plus prelims. And then UST 234 this past weekend. Sunday morning in Australia, Saturday night in America. The big thing that went down on this one was the Robert Whittaker Kevin Gastelum match. It was all set to go down. Weights were fine and everything. Nobody missed weight. But then there was a big old hernia and a collapsed and twisted bow, apparently. He had to undergo emergency surgery for. So, therefore, Kevin Gastelum's posing with the belt saying he's the rightful champion. Which is a good sort of nice, like, heel thing to do, because obviously he was probably going to get booed anyway, because Robert Whittaker's the home country guy. I don't know if he's hometown guy, but home country guy anyway. So the main event all of a sudden became Israel Adesanya versus Anderson Silva in what was being advertised as the match that Israel wins comfortably and retires Anderson Silva with as sort of a passing of the torch. So much so that when the ceremonial weigh-ins, Silva cried for about 2 minutes because he was getting that emotional about it. And then lo and behold, Anderson Silva put on a clinic against Israel Adesanya. Okay, two of the judges gave it 30-27, and there was a 29-28 from the third judge. But a match that was all but being advertised as sort of like Silva's losing via submission or TKO. Silva still managed to do it. Silva wants Nick Diaz, apparently. Nick Diaz doesn't. But whether it got bumped up to the main event spot and made Anderson sort of think a bit differently about the match, I don't know. But I honestly think Anderson still has one more match left in him, which I didn't think it was going to say at the start of the night. So full credit to them on that for that. Unsurprisingly, that got fight of the night. Montana De La Rosa got a $50,000 performance of the night bonus with her submission armbar on Nadia Kassam midway through the second. And also Devontae Smith, who was on the ESPN prelims, beat Dong Hyun Ma with a first round TKO. The Maestro he is, the nickname. Because he's very similar to Dong Hyun Kim, who I think is Korean's on a stun gun. So yeah, they have to have different nicknames because people get confused with the names. Next, UFC stuff happening this weekend. The first show on ESPN. Although there are a couple of early prelim matches on ESPN Plus, including Renan Barao. One of the longest unbeaten streaks in MMA history. I think it's like 32 matches in a row. Thanks, Wikipedia. He's taken on Luke Sanders on the early prelims. Jimmy Rivera's on the ESPN prelims against Aljamain Sterling. That's probably the main bit of that. And then 6 matches for the ESPN main prelims. Andre Phil versus Miles Jury in the featherweight division. Vicente Luque versus Bryan Barberena in the welterweights. Another featherweight match is Alex Caceres beats Kron Gracie. I guess that's another one of the Gracies. Courtney Casey versus Symphonia Cavillo in the strawweights. Then James Vick versus Paul Felder in the lightweights. And the main event, Francis Ngannou versus Cain Velasquez. That should be an interesting main event. And it'll be interesting to see what the viewing figures are for it as well, given that it is the first time ESPN is going to be, at least on the whole, apart from the extra prelims, solely on the main ESPN channel. Did we bring up Bellator last time? I think, yeah, we brought up the win, didn't we?
I believe so.
I should probably check to see if they've got another show coming up. I think, well, they had the show this weekend in Newcastle, but admittedly, most of it was stuff. It was basically a BAMA show, which is the British martial arts stuff, so it's nothing special. The main event saw Patricky Frere beat Ryan Scope via split decision, so an interesting one there. Apparently, it's the start of their new European series. They're doing a lot of shows, apparently. Oh, and they actually have got 2 shows this weekend. Christ. Matt Mitrione's taking on Sergey Kanitarov in the main event of the Friday show in Uncasville, Connecticut. And then the next night, they're back in with Sheik Congo on the undercard. Crow Crop versus Roy Nelson as well. And the main event being the quarterfinal match in the welterweight World Grand Prix, because I guess it worked as well enough for the heavyweights, with Michael Page taking on Paul Daly. They're doing, wow, so they're then going to Ireland at the end of February, and then a couple of shows in March as well in Oklahoma and California, and then 2 shows again on 2 straight weeks in San Jose, California, and Birmingham, England. Wait, why are they saying that's the 7th event in the Bellator European Series when they're going to Dublin, Ireland? Is Dublin, Ireland not in Europe? Are we going to have this? Are we having Brexit debates here? Dear fuck. In terms of indie stuff, big stuff went down in Fight Club Pro. Because Mark Davis beat Volta. Because basically Schadenfreude has turned its back on Volta. I'd say that's a wrong thing to do because you don't fuck with Volta. So I don't know what the logic is with that. That seems a bit crazy. Osprey's still doing shows with them as well. So clearly, just because the WWE guys are doing stuff there doesn't mean that none of the other talents are affected. What else? As I scroll through the past couple of weeks. Oh, the one thing from the Dragon Gate shows in Japan, KZ practically got murdered by Pac in Pac's successful defense of the belt. He's now been challenged by Shun Skywalker for their next show, I think, in about basically a month, which looks promising. So I guess now I might, because I was going to bring it up there because of I noticed it in my notes. The Ring of Honor stuff that went down this weekend. Interesting. Mainly because they did one of the things not at the TV tapings, but the following night for Honor Club members at the Miami show. I guess the big one that we have to bring up is we have a new Ring of Honor Women's Champion.
Yep.
In Stardom's Mayu Iwatani. Amazingly. I did not see it coming. I think it's probably fair to say you didn't see it coming, Owen.
Oh, no.
I think this leaves as a very promising aspect as to the Ring of Honor New Japan Super Show, possibly having some Stardom wrestlers involved to show that there is sort of women's wrestling as well in Japan, although it is Ring of Honor in New Japan. And thank you, everybody going, but why aren't they doing stuff? I mean, whether that, well, I guess because it's New Japan and Ring of Honor in Japan, you can't have Iwatani defend the belt at the Honor Rising shows, really, can you? I guess it means Mayu's probably going to be at the anniversary show, though, isn't she?
Probably.
That'll have to be where the defense is, I'd have thought. A few other things as well. Jeff Cobb beat Rocky Romero to retain the TV title. PCO beat Mark Briscoe. And the Taven retained their 6-man tag belts against Lethal, Gresham, and Rush. In terms of the TV tapings, which is the final tapings before the anniversary show, it looks as if, I'm just having a quick look. Apparently Kenny King challenged Marty Scurll to a match at the anniversary show. So does that mean Marty Scurll and Lethal is going to be Super Show?
Probably.
Because we know that Marty's challenging Magnus, Nick Aldis, for the NWA World title at the Crockett Cup start, which I think is next month, isn't it? I think. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Oh, I see. He wants the angle play that Aldis wanted Marty to be his partner in the Crockett Cup, but he's challenged him to the NWA title match.
Yep.
But that's April, so would that be after the Ring of Honor thing? If they do it, then who knows? And Villain Enterprises, which was Marty Scurll and PCO, beat Vinny and TK. It was supposed to be a 6-man tag match, but Brody King wasn't there because his kid was born. And Scurll put over PCO. I don't know what PCO did last night, because normally I'm kept informed of Monday Night PCO, which is normally better than Monday Night Raw. I think from what I remember 2 weeks ago, he kicked out the front windshield of a car and had gashes on his leg the size of the Grand Canyon. So, I don't know. It's as if he's on weed or something. Dear fuck. Rev Pro live at the cockpit from Sunday the 3rd. Big stuff on there. Lord Gideon Gray lost to MK McKinnon by submission, so the Great O'Khan will now have nobody in his corner to face MK McKinnon at the high stakes show, which I think is in a few weeks. El Phantasmo beat Rob Loyas. David Starr attempted to attack El Phantasmo, but was stopped. Zoe Lucas laid out Sami Zayn with the title after she beat you. David Starr beat Jackson Stone via submission. And Aussie Open beat Team White Wolf in the main event, which from people that I know that went to it, or I've heard of reports from people that went to it. Very, very nice little match. So might be worth checking out on the demands and all that stuff. ICW's Fight Club tapings. I think the last before their Square Go show in a few weeks. It looks as if Red Lightning is coming out of retirement again because Mark Dallas is now a heel boss. Ain't that great? This came out after Andy Wilde and Kieran Kelly, who'd also basically all but retired, beat Ravy Davey and Leighton Buzzard to qualify for the Square Go from out of nowhere to some extent. Not sure exactly what's set for that show at the minute. I can probably find out, though, if I click the thing at the top and it will load. Maybe. Nothing officially confirmed just yet. By the looks of it. They finished off the World of Sport Wrestling Tour. Apparently, quite a lot of the shows were actually sort of full, which is somewhat surprising. I guess I don't know if that's fair to say. It culminated actually last week, the last show being at York Hall in London, with Justin Sism beating Rampage. So they did all these title changes, but Justin Sism still eventually became champion again at the end. Although it was a little different with the women's title because Chardonnay beat Viper and B. Priestley. The rumors, of course, being Kaylee Ray and Viper might be heading to the E as part of the NXT UK stuff. So it sort of frees them up that way. So yeah, there was actually quite a lot of tag title changes, which is honestly surprising. The crowds, as I say, though, were pretty good. So whether that's going to express enough interest that they are going to be doing another series, I guess we'll have to see. At the minute, World of Sport is in the same limbo as Lucha Underground, except I have more confidence in them than Lucha Underground. Some big stuff in the Hardcore Freeway Championship match. Chief Deputy Dunn beat Los Federales Santos Jr. and Detective Drake. So he became the new Defiant Hardcore Champion. I can't remember why that is, because I'm pretty sure it was Havoc, but whatever. B. Priestley beat Lana Austin in the Falls Count Anywhere match. Justin Sism was actually on this show beating Bad Bones, which is a bit sort of surprising. Martin Kirby beat Benji to retain the Internet title in his open challenge thing. Aussie Open retained against CC Blah of Lucky Kid and Chris Brooks. And then Rampage beat David Starr to be the longest reigning champ in Defiance history. And the winning streak, I guess, continues that he's had for quite a while since dropping the belt in the What Culture era, if you will. Pro Wrestling Eve, also this weekend, just went by. So just looking, so there was a number one contenders tournament going on. Kaylee Ray and Mercedes Martinez won the semis to go to later on in the night to be in the final. Then Viper beat you. Erin Angel appeared ready for a match but got attacked by Millie McKenzie and Charlie Evans until Yetta made the save. Ginny then challenges her dismissal from Eve because her foot was on the rope against Shotzi Blackheart and shows the video. So puts her in a match with Mary Apache. Ginny loses. The Medusa Complex then beats, that's Charlie Evans and Millie, beat Session Moth and Heidi Katrina. Sue Young beat Charlie Morgan. Kaylee Ray won the #1 contenders tournament, beating Mercedes. And then Nina Samuels beat Amy Sakura by ref stoppage to retain the Eve title. Basically, Nina tied Sakura's knee to the ropes with one of the banners. And Rhea had to throw in the towel. Because she's healed. Dun. Trying to see. I don't think there's any other UK stuff that I can see. Just double checking. No. So the other stuff, AEW were in Austin, Texas, with Firefox, which is AR Fox and Myron Reed, losing the titles to the Lucha Bros, despite the fact that Phoenix fucked himself up, apparently, with a nasty injury. Well, it looked like a nasty injury, but the update from AEW said that he was treated and released with a muscle contusion. So basically, he just needs some rest. So I guess that's positive. Jimmy Jacobs beat Jessica Havoc when Havoc passed out the guillotine choke. Havoc got a standing ovation from the crowd. LAX and Rascals went to a 20-minute time limit draw, with it still looking like it's going to be happening. And the Regal twins lost to Besties in the World when they were wanting more than just a fight for the future match. Then Sami Callihan showed up and called out Kurt Stallion and said he and the rest of the wrestling had jumped in when he won the title at Windy City Classic, taking away a great moment. So he wanted him, and he beat Stallion pretty quickly. Well, I say pretty quickly, but it was certainly, Sammy looking dominant eventually in the end. And then the other thing, Shikara's National Pro Wrestling Day, with a lot of Shikara people on, rather than being what it's been with like various other companies over the last few years. So Penelope Ford pins Still Life with Apricots and Pears to get her revenge, because apparently at the finale, Still Life and Blank were taking pictures, like they were fucking boudoir pictures. That picture that Ric Flair wanted everybody to see, with Miss Elizabeth. That sort of shit. Crazy shit. The Bird and the Bee managed to get 2 points in their 4-way elimination stuff. El Hayo de Ice Cream got pinned by them. Then Frantic of the Proteus Wheel pinned Fifan. But then Willow Nightingale pinned Frantic, so they have 2 points. Icarus beat Christian Cabane in an advertised match. Missile Assault Man beat Juan Francisco de Coronado. Mark Angelisetti in another match, but I think this was brought up by the fact that there was supposed to be a face-to-face that was organized by director of fun Bryce Remsburg. But then Mark Angelisetti pinned Callister Castigator in a match. I guess something came from that. The Creatures of the Deep of Oceana and Murloc beat Blanche Babish and Jeremy Leary. Then in a big upset, Officer Warren Barksdale, who was barely on the 2018 season of Shikara, beat Hallowicked sort of literally from out of nowhere. Fist beat Cyberhawk 2000. And then Princess Kimberly and the Whisper win clean 2-0 against Sonny Defarge and Cornelius Crummels. The next Shikara show, I believe, is the Young Lions Cup show, but that is not nearly for another month. Oh, but they are doing a couple of stadium shows that they've just added in July. Okay, that's an interesting little addition. In terms of stuff coming up this weekend, we have the Evolve doubleheader featuring Adam Cole, Bay in a couple of matches. One of which I believe is Shane Strickland. I think that's the Friday show. Shane Strickland versus Adam Cole. In a match that should be happening on WWE, but thanks Lucha Underground, you bastards. ICW are having their party and bullshit. Oh, that's ICW in New York. That's a different one. Oh, that's the show that's going to have Nick Gage versus Scott Steiner. What the fuck? Well, I'm going to say I'm interested now, aren't I, Owen? Jeez. Southside Wrestling are going to be having some of their Raw Deal show on the Saturday, and I'm guessing they're probably doing a show. Oh, they're not doing a show Sunday. Normally they do a double header, unless it is a double header. PWX in North Carolina are going to be having Battlefield X Saturday afternoon as well. GCW is back for another show. They said it couldn't be done. Is the name of the show. And Evolve is going down as well. If I quickly go to my Yahoo mail to see if there's anything else in terms of matches. I'm trying to see if we've got any. Right, so Nick Gage is defending the GCW World title in a Prison Rules match against Schlack. So this is going to be proper hardcore then. Matt Tremont versus G Raver. This is going to be pretty hardcore. Tracy Williams versus KTB. Dickinson versus Deppen. Shane Mercer versus Eli Everfly. There's some interesting stuff there. There's also a lot of violent shit. Unsurprisingly, I guess. Lol. Have a quick look through in terms of anything else coming up that I haven't got in my Facebook. WXW are having shows. Ooh. Owen, can you see if you can find the list of the names so far for WXW? The 16 carat.
Yeah, I can look into that real quick.
I'll quickly search. I might see if I can get the picture that somebody put up. There it is. There's the picture. At least I got that. Managed to find that easier than I did. Oh, Preston City Wrestling apparently has got something maybe going on Friday, but that might be a sort of trainee sort of show rather than an actual show. So I'm not entirely sure the details on that. Normally PCW I normally keep an eye on. So have a quick look. Yeah, there's the Southside Wrestling show in the afternoon. Only seems to be that as well. And yeah, there doesn't really seem to be anything Sunday either. So yeah, the 16 carat. It's a pretty damn good field. It's coming 8th to the 10th, so we'll be probably properly previewing it maybe in a few weeks. So the 15 names confirmed so far, going from 6 o'clock on the way I'm looking picture, anti-clockwise round. We've got Pentagon Jr., Timothy Thatcher, Chris Brooks, Jørn Simmons, David Starr, Ray Horus, Lucky Kid, Ray Phoenix, Axel Dieter Jr., Mark Davis, Daisuke Sakamoto, Avalanche, Shigehiro Iri, Volta, and Ila Dragunov. We still got one name somehow to add to that. That's looking fucking incredible. Which I think is a technical term, Owen. Probably verify. Actually, come to think of it, there is something going on this weekend. It's just they never put an event up for it. I think we have Progress this weekend. I need to double check. That's chapter 85. Where's chapter? Yeah, there's chapter 86, but where's chapter 84? Oh no, chapter 84 is the 24th of Feb, so it's actually next weekend. So I think that's everything covered. I guess we can do a quick fire with the chat. If we have the chat.
Yeah, Smurfy Boy chimed in earlier. Sorry about that, Smurfy Boy. I'm exhausted. Let's see. Charlotte being added to the match makes no sense because we all know Asuka has no opponent. Love to see Sasha and Asuka at Mania. Gonna be made so we can get the Double or Nothing. I love Charlotte, but WWE giving her way too many accolades. And Takeover is going to be at the Barclays Center. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, that's it. That's everything. Right. So, yeah, not a huge amount of sort of indie stuff going on next week, but obviously with the... I could probably actually run through the Evolve cards because they're probably the highlight of the indie stuff. And they will obviously be live streamed on WWN Live and I think Fight from what I remember. So the Friday show, as previously mentioned, Adam Cole versus Shane Strickland. Also, Austin Theory defends his Evolve title against Darby Allin. The Street Profits defend the Evolve tag belts against DJZ and AR Fox. Anthony Henry versus Eddie Kingston in a grudge match. Aya Pereira defends the Shine Nova title against Priscilla Kelly. There'll be a Skulk Scramble match, which will feature Leon Ruff, Adrian Alanis, and Liam Gray of the Skulk, and any other members of the WWA 4 school. There's also a Josh Briggs versus Kurt Stallion special attraction match, and JD Drake versus Harlan Bravado in non-title action. Joe Gacy's supposed to be there as well. Don't know what he's doing. He's there. And then Evolve 22 in Concord, North Carolina. I'm guessing that must be as a double header with Battlefield X, more than likely. We've got Harlan Bravado versus Kurt Stallion in another challenge match. In an attraction match, DJZ versus Josh Briggs. AR Fox faces Shane Strickland in the As Good As It Gets match, apparently. Angelo Dawkins of the Street Profits faces Eddie Kingston in a grudge match. Adam Cole takes on Darby Allin. And then possible 2 WWN title matches. If Austin Theory retains at 121, he'll be facing Anthony Henry at 122. And JD Drake will be defending the WWN title against Montez Ford of the Street Profits. So somehow I think the titles aren't going to change to tag team wrestlers that have single titles as well. But there you go.
All right.
And of course, you've got the chamber as well. All that sort of stuff. And there's probably stuff in Japan. More than likely. Probably have a quick... I go to my usual site where I watch my wrestling as to see what they apparently have scheduled. There might be some DDT stuff I don't normally keep an eye on. There's some Hood Slam stuff. Of course there is. There is some DDT this weekend as well. And some All Japan. All going on in or around Elimination Chamber weekend and stuff. So yeah, that is actually it. We went 2 hours.
There we go.
That's the aim.
So Ashley can be found on social media at Ash is my name UK.
Mm-hmm.
Gaming with Ash and Snack Stash is coming back in the near future.
Snack Stash more sooner rather than later because there's 2 filmed which I probably need to send over in once we get off this show.
It's midnight, which means I officially want to give a happy birthday shout out to Cleveland.
Oh, Cleveland's birthday. Holy shit. Did he do that? Did he get bored on purpose because it's Black History Month? Oh, wait, I shouldn't have said that. Somebody clipped that. Said it to Cleveland. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday.
Maybe Cleveland and Aaron will be back in the near future.
Yeah, hopefully we can somehow get them for Elimination Chamber because then we might give a shit about covering that show.
I doubt it. I may not even cover the show. We'll see. That might just be on Monday. We'll find out. Thursday, Oscar predictions. Time to be announced.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 100% on that right now. It's going to be a rough day, so might as well talk about the award season.
Mm-hmm.
So, lots of stuff coming in the near future. There's more Sip and Snack guest stars with Bella coming in the near future. We're still trying to figure out a name for her new segment. She probably will be talking about the Grammys before too long if that ends up working out. We'll see what's going on with that. I've got more Sip and Snacks to do. I have a bunch of Sip and Snacks I still haven't done yet, but I have a lot of new stuff that I have yet to try that's in my house right now. So we'll see. I'm on Twitter at Suro and Disney, and that's going to be your show. And once again, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more tonight you've chosen a Popcast. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. More AJ content coming this weekend. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Activision fired 800 people from their company with about 1 hour's notice, despite the fact they knew it was coming for months. What heartless fucks.